Morning guys, it's a beautiful morning here. It's about 6 a.m. on Brighton Beach. It's fantastic, it's serene as you can see. I'm doing a quick video here on exam failure. I get contacted a lot by people who don't get through medical exams, and often it's the first exam that people have ever not got through in their life, and it's difficult, it's really hard to take, and you don't feel like going in the next day to work, you don't feel like facing people, you feel like you've let yourself down. It's really tough to get through. So I want to talk about 3 things to focus on if you don't get through a medical exam, and hopefully this never happens to you at all, but it does happen. It's part of medical training, and it's worth bearing a few things in mind. I'm going to talk about past, I'm going to talk about present, I'm going to talk about future, and how these 3 things can allow you to get through the next hurdle, which is getting back on track. So let's start with past first. What do I mean by past? So when you don't get through a medical exam, it hits you hard, and we kind of wallow in the moment of that point. But the first thing to do is think back. Think about all those exams that you've already got through. This is not the first exam you've done in your life. You've done many, probably more difficult exams, probably in more difficult situations, and you've managed to get through them. So you know how to pass exams. So this one is not going to be the last one on your journey. You're going to get through this, and you're going to get beyond. So think about all the past successes that you've done. And if you have failed exams in the past, think about those times. Think about how you got through that period. You didn't get through it at that point. You may have thought at that point, gosh, how am I going to pass that exam? It's the end of the world, but you managed to get over it and get to this stage. So the past is really important sometimes to focus on the successes, focus on what you've done to this point. It can put you back on track and make you remember the fact that you're good enough to get through the exam that's blocking you at the current moment. So the past is really important not to neglect. Number 2 is the present. Look, I'm in the present at the moment. I'm sitting here. It's a beautiful day. It's hard to often focus on some of the good things when you're in a situation where you just failed a medical exam. But you've got to sometimes let things go a little bit and just maybe drop the exam from your mind. Think about where you are right now. Think about the good things in your life. Think about gratitude. Think about all the really important things and put things in perspective, because yes, it's a medical exam, and yes, it's a hitch on the way, and yes, it's a hurdle on the way to your end goal, but there's so many more things that are important. And actually, okay, you failed an exam, but there's so many things that could go worse than that. And it's really important to base yourself in the present. Just think, look, okay, let me take 2 or 3 days out. Let me completely forget about medicine, exams, failures, the future, whatever. Just let me stay in the present for a little while, because it's so powerful at just bringing you back to earth and realizing that actually, it's not the last thing that's ever going to happen to me in this world. There's lots of other things going to happen, good things, bad things, but I'm going to stick in the present and just take time to almost get through this little patch where you're going to feel down and deflated. And it's worth just telling yourself, look, it's fine to feel like this. Like, I've just not got through something. I expected to get through it. I hope to get through it. And I'm going to feel a little bit disappointed. It's natural, it's normal. So it's worth accepting what's going on in the present. And the third thing to think about is the future. Now, when you look at the future, I mean 2 things. Number 1, look at planning going forward. How am I going to, when you've had the period of a little time in the present and you're ready to move on, think about planning. Okay, what happened last time? How am I going to plan to make it different next time? What did I find difficult? What were the challenges? What were the things that surprised me? How do I get a plan in place to get things forward? So next time I do this exam, I'm going to be in a slightly different mindset and a different situation. If you go and do the same exam again, say 3 months down the line, but you haven't changed your mindset, you've done nothing different, you've just done more of the same thing from before, you're not going to feel ready. You're going to think, well, this is going to happen again. There's no difference. So you've got to plan to make a difference and have a different approach next time. And also, when you think about future, I think about your ultimate endpoint. Like, this exam in the way is not the last thing on your radar. You've got things beyond that. Is it going to be completion of training? Is it going to be finishing med school? Is it going to be, finally getting a role or a consultant, or whatever it is you want to do, become a GP? There's going to be a bigger goal that you need to focus on going forward, because that will drag you through this little hurdle in the way. The be all and end all is not this one single exam. It just feels like that at the moment because it's such a big hurdle. Remember when you felt like this before, if you have failed exams before, or you see a really big exam in the way you think, I'm never going to get through this. It happens, and it's all part of your overall journey. So have your end goal in focus. Focus on that, and it will drag you through things, even on that difficult day where you think, how am I going to do this exam at the moment? So plan forward, think forward, and have your goals set in the future as well, so that you can drag yourself through that time. So look, failing exams is part of life. Failing anything is part of life. It's not just exams. We are going to fail. We're human beings. There's going to be ups and downs, but it's how you react to those situations that make the difference between someone who's going to get somewhere and someone who's going to get stuck in one position or give up. So this is how you can focus on the past, the present, and the future. They're 3 very different techniques to get you thinking about how am I going to get this next step done in my career? And some people focus more on past and work from there. Some people focus more on future, some on present. But you've got to figure out what works for you. But a little bit of each three will allow you to take that next step and absolutely ace the exam when it comes around next time around. Hope this helps. Definitely hashtag can pass, will pass.